I'm going to talk to you today about connectivity and consumer behaviour and connectivity. So one thing connectivity has done, it's shifted the internet from something that we used to boot up and connect to something that's around us 24/7 and allowing us to move seamlessly in and out of the online and offline world without even having to think about it. So I'm going to touch on three things. Oh, we'll leave Bob for a second. I'm going to touch on three things. I'm going to touch on how connectivity has resulted in humans are still the same, right? We still have the same basic needs and wants. There's still key moments that matter to us as consumers. Connectivity has changed our behaviours and attitudes, and has fundamentally changed the way we go about and research products. And the last thing is that businesses in a connected world have to pick the moments that matter to them and win them. So first off, I'm going to say, cast your mind back to 2004, 10 years ago, and I'd like you to meet John. John lives in Dublin. He's married with 3 kids, and he has a good job in recruitment, right? John has 2 primary sources for information in his life. One, the newspaper. He likes to try to read the newspaper every day that he has time, and he loves it on the weekends. And John is actually a big sports fan. So it's 2004 and he's very happy because Ireland has just won the Triple Crown for the first time in a very long time, and he thinks international rugby is on the up, so he's happy. John's other primary source of information is friends and family. And John meets most of his friends down the pub, and he likes going for a pint. And he enjoys this social time because they chat about everything from politics to sport to business. He enjoys that, but he can't wait to get to the pub this week because he's just got a new Nokia 6310, and this is state of the art. It's got a calculator, it's got an alarm, and it's got a stopwatch. So he is only dying to get down the pub to show this to the guys. But Bob isn't so happy with the government because they've just taken in the smoking ban, and he thinks this is going to, he likes the odd cigarette down the pub, and he thinks this is going to affect his time with his friends and his communications and everything. So he's a wee bit upset about that, but he'll get over it. So this is Bob today, or John today. Sorry, Bob. This is John today. He's looking very well. He hasn't changed too much, simply because I couldn't get an older picture. But we won't let that stop. So he still works in recruitment. He's still married, and he has 3 kids, right? But when the smoking ban came in, he got a little bit concerned about, he quit smoking, and he got a little bit concerned about putting on a bit of middle-age spread. So he took up fitness. And this is John's Fitband that he wears. And he uses this piece of wearable technology to supply him information about his own movements and the activity that he does. Along with that, he's actually taken up running quite seriously, and he runs a couple of 10Ks and half marathons, and he's quite competitive. So along with the Fitband, he also has the Runkeeper app. And he does this to set goals and check his own times. But he monitors that app on his fancy smartphone. But he doesn't just use the smartphone to monitor apps. He uses the smartphone. This is where he reads the newspaper now. He doesn't read it in a traditional sense anymore, maybe on a Sunday, but he actually uses his smartphone to read the newspaper. And John is like every other average Irish person. He looks at the smartphone first thing in the morning and last thing at night. In fact, he looks at it 150 times a day, like every other average Irish person. John, as I said, has 3 kids, so he has 3 tablets, because he has to keep the peace. Because he used to have one, then he needed another one, and then he needs to get a third. But himself and his wife don't get to use these tablets, they have to use the laptop. So when he actually wants to read more about sports and other things while watching TV at the evening, he has to use his laptop because he doesn't get time. By the way, John still isn't happy with the government, so much so that last Friday he voted independent. So that hasn't changed. So John's fundamental needs and wants haven't changed. Like Maslow hierarchy, it hasn't changed for him. But what has changed is the means at which he goes to find out information about those needs and wants. So his path to purchase in a lot of instances has fundamentally changed. How he formulates his consideration set has fundamentally changed. And the way in which he researches products and services and needs and wants has fundamentally changed. So this connected consumer, what else does that mean? So this is constantly connected John. 20 hours a week, like the average Irish person spent online. He uses 3 connected devices on average in any day, and he's happy to spend money online. So he has a PayPal account, and he's very happy to use his credit card online, like any other average Irish person. But what does constantly connect, what other impacts is? First of all, his media consumption has totally changed. So this is a typical household. This is John's living room, but it's like any other typical household. There is 4 screens at play: TV, laptop, tablet, and smartphone. And someone's using 2, and somebody else is using 3. And the average Irish person, 40%, in fact, use 3 screens. That's the most common combination, 3 screens. And when you're using 3 screens, the largest one, the TV, isn't the primary screen. It's what we call the lean-out screen. The lean-in screen, your first screen, tends to be one of the smaller screens, the laptop, the tablet, or the smartphone. So it's interesting that the largest screen isn't the primary screen anymore. 87% of Irish people use multiple screens. So that's changed how we consume media. The other thing that's changed is, what are we doing? Most people think that when people are on the internet while watching TV, it's passive. It's not. In fact, it's very active. They're actively searching for news and information. They're actively using search. 89% of people are using search. Other people are actually watching videos while watching TV, which is quite interesting. And nearly 50% of people are shopping, actively shopping. 49% are using the Connect, that's social media. So they're using Twitter and Facebook and connecting with friends. But it's active, not passive. And that's important. That's creating lots of opportunities for you as a business to connect with these people in a traditional sort of downtime when they used to just be watching TV. What else is this creating? This is creating very complex paths to purchase. So 65% of Irish people move between screens while they're shopping. So they might start something on a desktop and work and finish it on the bus or the train or the way home. They move between screens seamlessly. That means you need to have a consistent message across all screens if you want to win that moment that matters to them. And we move seamlessly between online and offline. Like we'll happily start something offline and finish it online, and vice versa. So you need to be aware. This creates all sorts of attribution issues. Where do you apportion the credit? Which one made the sale for you? You have to think about your customer journeys and think about the touch points that are important and attribute credit accordingly. And be aware that there's a big merge between the online worlds and the offline worlds. Customers are hyper-informed. We're obsessed with information now. You ask anyone in the auto space. People coming to buy cars know more about that car when they walk onto the forecourt than any car dealer possibly could, because they've researched it 15 ways of Sunday. So they're hyper-informed. And whether you like it or not, they have researched you, your brand, your business, and have probably started to form an opinion about you or your business before they've even walked into your premises or spoken to a member of your staff. So it's very important that you put your best brand foot forward online and be happy with your online presence, your website, any social interactions, because people are using this to research, whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, whether you're in a service industry or whether you're a retailer, they're doing it. They're forming an opinion. One way to think about connecting with connected consumers is thinking about winning the moments that matter to them. So anywhere, any given, any time, people are actively seeking information about products and services to meet their needs and demands. And you should think there's constantly moments that matter to them along that journey. And if you can think about trying to win a moment that matters to them, you might just win their business. So it's interesting to think of it that way. Some moments that matter are more obvious than others. So John on Monday night had to go for a business dinner. John wouldn't normally go for business dinners on Monday night. He wasn't even sure if any restaurants in Dublin 2 were open. But he just searched on the desktop, Dublin 2 restaurants opened. And whatever was returned quickly, had clear opening times and a phone number he'd heard of before from his friends, and he saw some reviews booked, done. Quick sale. Slightly more complex and drawn out is John's considering getting laser eye surgery. He's kind of procrastinating about it. He wants to do it. He's used offline means, so he's spoken to his friends and family who've got it in a ton. He's already got a list of clinics and hospitals that he thinks he might use, and he's reading reviews and reading articles, looking at their website, forming an opinion based on their website, because he doesn't like the ones that are pushing price too much because it's eyes and price doesn't really come into it when it's your eyesight. And he's slowly but surely forming an opinion and reducing his consideration set accordingly. But probably what's also interesting is John isn't actively sitting down some evening saying, I'm going to research laser eye surgery. He's doing snatching moments here and there that fit in with his life. 10 minutes on his iPhone when he's waiting on his 10-year-old to come out of a birthday party. A few minutes here, a few minutes there. And slowly but surely he's moving through his purchase funnel. And he'll eventually pick up the phone to one of these clinics. But you have to think about, they're all key moments that matters to John along that journey. And if you can win one of them, you might just win John's business. Wouldn't it be lovely to try and get inside the head of your potential customers and understand their intent and understand their needs and wants a little bit better? We would argue you can. We call this white space a database of intentions. So if you think about yourself personally, what do you type into a Google search bar? It's something that you're intent on getting information about. You have an intention. You're actively seeking some form of information. And the one thing about online is there's a beautiful byproduct of online that is data. And if you can harness data well, it allows you to know the intention of your customers, predict what they want, and ultimately win a moment that matters to them. So it's very powerful. So let's go back to John. So what I did was I looked over the last Monday to Friday last week, and I considered John and his family. So there's John, his wife, and his 3 kids. His youngest is 10, and his eldest is 15. And I said I wanted to harness the database of intentions for John. So I looked at Google search, so google.ie, and what I did is I used a tool called Google Trends. And what I did was I put in 4 search terms, so 4 terms that people would typically search. And I put 4 of them into, and this is Monday to Friday of last week. And what this has done, it's indexed search query volumes for those 4 terms last week. And as you can see, one of them took a huge spike on Wednesday. So does anyone want to hazard a guess, and I'll find a prize, does anyone want to hazard a guess as to what I might have possibly put in? What do you think a family that might be interested in find some more information about last week in Dublin? One Direction, yeah? What else? One more? What was Wednesday's though? None of you said the 3 got there Wednesday. No. What was over here? Boom. Rory McIlroy. So Rory McIlroy topped One Direction and topped the election on Wednesday. So they're the 4 search terms that I put in. So what's the point of this? It's being aware about what happens in the offline world drives people to the online world to find out more information. You know? So you'll be happy to know the election did pass out One Direction come the weekend. Thankfully there is. But it just shows you, Rory McIlroy was all over the news. I'm sure if I put in Kimmy now, this would be the same. But it shows you these were search terms on Ireland. And be very aware of what happens in the offline world, that people go to online meals to find out more information. So what? You're a business, you're not selling Rory McIlroy's old engagement ring, so it doesn't matter to you. But if you think about it for a second, maybe you are. If you think about it, what it does, you have to think about what drives search in your category, okay? So think Giro d'Italia. Like, it happened in Ireland recently. It was obviously up all down the East Coast. So if I was in anything to do with bikes or fitness, if I was a hotel, a restaurant or a bar, anywhere along that route, or even a petrol station, I would have made sure that I would have been capturing some of the demand for people searching around that. Because that would have created an opportunity for me to win a moment that matters for people who are interested in going and watching that event. So we take the laser eye surgery example. So if John is looking for laser eye surgery and he's on Golf's Digest reading about Rory McIlroy or some pro golfer who had laser eye surgery and improved his game no end, I'd want my ad for laser eye surgery contextually targeting that article to win that moment that matters for someone who potentially might go, oh, that could improve my game. So, it's about using data cleverly to win that moment that matters. So you can look at winning moments that matters in three ways. One is be aware. 24/7, everywhere, anywhere, any given time, people are looking for this sort of information. It's a 24-hour shop, and it doesn't respect general business hours. So they'll be searching day and night. So think of it 24/7. The other thing is pick the moments that matter to your customers, and think of your customers, or think of your own business's USPs. What moments do you have the right to win? What moments can you win as a business, given your business proposition? So pick out the moments that you have the right to win and win them. Win them in your geography and win them in your target market, because that's your chance to win customers. And lastly, pick your platforms. So it can be a bit overwhelming. There's search, there's display, there's video, there's YouTube, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's a million platforms. Pick a number of platforms that your target market are in and focus on them. Start off small, test and measure. You don't have to be everywhere. You just have to be everywhere your customers are, and think of their customer journey. So getting your house in order. So as I said, pick your moments, pick your platforms, and pick what you have the right to win. Be found. All of you should search your own brand and see what that experience is like and what search results are returned. And look at your own website across every single device. And try and do what you ask your customers to do and your potential customers to do. Try and step through the process or find out information. Just see what you're putting your customers through. Because if it's not easy, they're just tabbing to the next one. People are time poor. Think about all devices, all times, 24 hours a day. There's no such thing as shop hours anymore. And then think about offline and online. Think about how the offline world can impact online, and make sure it's consistent communications between offline and online. Because they don't differentiate between your brand online and offline. It's still the same company to them. They don't say, oh, it's okay, their mobile site isn't ready yet. They don't. So when you do all that, you get your house in order. And then you can win business from people like John. So I'm going to leave you now with a video about what the future might be for someone like John, the next connective device he might use. So if we can roll the video, please.
That does that?
Just got a jellyfish warning.
Tri-County?
Let's go to Zuma.
Morning, kids. Supplies, be there in 2. There it is. Okay, Google, what's the Syracuse score? Yay! Woo!
Okay, Google, open garage.